found an article in commondreams.org, which is breaking news and views for the progressive community. I just found this website. I don't know how great or accurate they are, but let's give them a spin. Got to find some real news somewhere. Basically, there was a new study that came out that sea levels by the year 2100 are going to put New Orleans, New York City, and Mar-a-Lago under rising seas. And the link is below. They also do 3D visualizations that by the year 2100, they show you like what Manhattan will look like with that much sea levels, with rising sea levels. California, they show you San Diego, they show you a bunch of different things. And the sea level thing is already happening. There was a documentary that came out a couple years ago, and I forget the name of it, but it's basically about the guy that was the president of the Maldives Island, which is a series of islands, I think, in the Indian Ocean. And their sea levels have been coming up, and it's been damaging their crops, and they're slowly starting to see it. And he went around the world to petition this, and then I'm not sure what happened, but I think he got thrown out of power. There was like an army corporate coup or something like that. Anyway, but one of the things he said is, we're at the same sea level as New York City. And they've talked about, in An Inconvenient Truth, which came out, I don't know, over 10 years ago or something like that. They said, New York City could flood. That's already happened. They had a big hurricane and New York City was flooded. I mean, it could happen anywhere. So it's just more hard evidence. Anyone that's like, oh, climate change, and all the climate change deniers are either paid off by the oil company or they're just shit nuts. They're just flat earth, alien, human wingbirds. So this new report shows that many previous estimates of global sea level rise by 2100 were far too conservative, the Washington Post reported Thursday. And the research comes as new maps and graphics from Climate Central vividly show how disastrous the flooding will be for U.S. citizens. The report, Snow, Water, Ice, and Permafrost in the Arctic, found that previous estimates of sea level rise didn't account enough for the fast pace of melting ice in the Arctic and Greenland. The Post writes, the assessment found that under a relatively moderate global warming scenario, one that slightly exceeds the temperature targets contained in the Paris Climate Agreement, seas could be expected to rise at least 52 centimeters or 1.7 feet. That might not seem like a lot, but it is if you're right at sea level. By the year 2100, under a more extreme business as usual warming scenario, meanwhile, the minimum rise would be 74 centimeters or 2.4 feet. The report explored a minimum rise scenario, but not a maximum worst case scenario, because the minimum one is still pretty awful. What it does, so the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, the NOAA, did just that and found that in the most extreme case, the sea in some locations will rise stunning 8 feet by the century's end. So somewhere between 1.7 and 8 feet. Even if it's just a foot, this is the thing people don't understand. Do you know what a foot does? It puts places like New Orleans with a foot of water. Imagine a foot of water in your home. That causes a lot of damage. What are you going to do? A foot of water. And if you got beachfront property, well, that goes away. That's not valuable anymore. And what's interesting is Climate Central did 3D mock-ups of what it would show with that much water. New York City, California, and what that's going to do is it would create, they estimate, 13 million people in the U.S. It would create 13 million climate refugees and reshaping the inland cities, as Common Dreams reported last week. The ominous new research came as President Donald Trump continues to dismantle climate policies, boost the fossil fuel industry, and considers pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord. He doesn't care. He'll be dead. He'll be dead. He does not. He does not care. And few of those greedy corporate assholes give a shit, especially in that generation. There's a lot of baby boomers I know that watch this show, and you guys are down, and you've been progressive since, probably I was a little baby or before I was born, and I applaud you very much. To put this all on a specific generation isn't accurate, but man. So this is something we got to pay attention to in this. And anytime I talk about the climate change, first of all, there's flat out climate change denial from the right. They'll just flat out deny it. But the left will go along with it. Hillary's gone along with fracking. So is Obama. He helped the pipeline happen. He didn't block the Dakota Access Pipeline. A Native American tribe tried to do it, and they were kind of successful through all of 16 and 15 and 16, and then Obama came in. So pay close attention, man. Pay close attention to the liar corporate Democrats that say they're all hope and change and eco and green, and then they're not. They back this thing. So they'll just do those subtle concessions of like, well, it's not realistic, and I agree with you. It's like the way they won't come on board with single payer healthcare. Like Pelosi, hey, single payer would be great, but it's too hard, or Wasserman Schultz, too hard to dismantle. They do the same shit with the environment. This is the richest country in the world. We could have wind turbines and solar panels everywhere. We need to address this situation because it is real and it is happening. And you can deny it all you want, but it's going to happen unless nobody does anything about it. We can all do stuff on our own, man. I rode my bike and used public transportation 4 days last week. So 4 days I didn't use my car. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay away from using my car as much as I can. Yesterday I had to do it. It's the little things, man. Stop using their products. They'll notice. If we stop 10% of oil consumption, that's going to cost them millions of dollars. And they'll wake up. And you start putting money and buy recycled products, buy green technology, support businesses that have green technology. Even just a little business that has a little couple solar panels or something. They use wind turbines. Compost, all this stuff. It sounds like, more hippie nonsense, but literally it's the survival. I just did a video on the Flint, Michigan water is contaminated. It's real, man. It's happening. Contaminated water. Without breathable air and drinkable water, we can't survive. And I don't think the corporate state gives a shit or cares about that, or they're just going to build a space station and get out of here while we all die or something. I don't know what. But pay attention and make the little changes in your life every day, and that's how we can affect change. And also, don't support the fucking corporate media. They don't report this. So they talk about it, but then they always do that thing. They'll have Bill Nye on, and then they'll have a climate change denier, and they'll put them on equal footing, and they're not on equal footing. Science is not on the same footing as denial, as wingbirds. So don't support the fucking independent media, man. Do not give them your money. They are part of the problem. They are pushing this fucking corporate state oil narrative, this propaganda. And you talk to regular, reasonable people, I don't know about climate change, because they've been fed that bullshit. And they think watching an hour a day of CNN or Fox or MSNBC makes them informed. No, it makes them lied to. It makes them programmed. So don't give them your money. Support independent media. My Patreon link is below, man, because I want to do more of this. I want to have video clips. I want to take this to the next level. I want to do live shows every night if I could. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.